Long before the Pilgrims ever sailed across the Atlantic, long before Plymouth Colony, there was a thriving Native American village along the coast of what is now Massachusetts. The people who lived there called it Patuxet. Among them was a young man named Tisquantum. His world stretched from the forests to the sea. He hunted, he fished, he planted corn, beans, and squash. Life was simple. European fishing ships occasionally appeared offshore. Their crews would trade metal tools, knives, and other goods with the coastal tribes. The strangers were interesting, but they eventually sailed away. To Tisquantum, they were visitors from another world. At first, they came for fish, then furs, then trade. The English called this place the New World. To merchants across the Atlantic, it promised opportunity beyond imagination. Every voyage returned with stories of endless forests, rich hunting grounds, profitable trade. Some captains dealt honestly, others did not. The ships became a familiar sight, until one day, one invited Tisquantum on board. The captain's name was Thomas Hunt. Exactly what he promised, history doesn't tell us. Trade, curiosity, friendship, perhaps all three. What we do know is that the ship sailed with 25 or so Indians on board. The shoreline disappeared behind them. Home faded beyond the horizon. The seas were rough, unlike anything Tisquantum had ever experienced. He and his fellow captives were sick, wet, hungry. Their destination was Spain, and Hunt's plan was to sell the Indians as slaves. Spanish, language Tisquantum certainly did not know. People unlike any he had ever seen. A world he could not imagine. An uncertain future. From what we understand, Catholic friars intervened before Tisquantum could be sold. What happened next is less certain. For several years, history loses sight of Tisquantum. When he appears again, he is living in England, learning the language, working among English merchants, listening, watching, learning how the English think and thought. Years passed, but one idea never left him. The idea of home. When an opportunity finally came to sail west, he took it. Tisquantum was working for and living in the household of John Slaney, the treasurer of the Newfoundland Company. He arranged passage for Tisquantum to Newfoundland. While there, he met with Thomas Dermer, an English explorer who was also associated with the company. Dermer wrote to his employer and explained that he had found the ideal Indian guide who could help them reestablish peaceful trade with the New England tribes who were still furious about Hunt's earlier kidnappings. The journey home had taken years. It had not been a direct route. The welcome home lasted only moments. His village was gone. No voices, no children, no cooking fires. Disease had reached his people before he did. The Patuxet were gone. Everything he had hoped to find had vanished. After 5 years, he had returned home, but home no longer existed. Time passed for Tisquantum. It was November 1620. Another English ship appeared. These strangers were different. They were not fishermen, they were not traders. They had come to stay. Tisquantum watched from a distance as they built their new settlement on the ruins of his village. He understood their language. He understood why they had come. Winter came quickly. The settlement struggled. Many died. On March 16th, 1621, a native man walked into the settlement. His name was Samoset. He surprised the English by greeting them in English. Samoset knew enough English to greet the strangers, enough to begin a conversation, but beginning the conversation is not the same as understanding one. Samoset knew there was only one man who could do that, a man who had lived among the English, worked beside them, learned how they thought. Samoset could introduce the two worlds. Tisquantum could explain one to the other. Tisquantum decided to help the Pilgrims. He taught them where to fish, how to plant corn, when to harvest, where fresh water could be found. But knowledge alone was not enough. Tisquantum understood both worlds. He knew what the English needed to learn. More importantly, he knew how to teach it in a way that they would understand. He was more than an interpreter, he became their teacher. The English would remember him by another name, Squanto. History remembers Tisquantum because he spoke English, but that isn't why he matters. History remembers him because he helped the Pilgrims, but that isn't why he was great. Greatness is measured by what we choose to do despite circumstance. Tisquantum had lost his freedom, lost years of his life, lost his home, lost his people. Yet, when history placed him in a position to perhaps seek revenge, he chose to help the Pilgrims. No one in the world was better prepared to do so. He spoke their language, he knew their customs, but he knew the land they had entered. He knew the people who already called it home. Many colonial settlements had failed. Plymouth survived. Perhaps because Tisquantum made the decision to become the unique link between the two worlds. And that decision is why Tisquantum is a great American.